Hello everybody, welcome to Highlight Craft's new Flower of the Month launch, and this time we're bringing you the Christmas rose, which horticulturally speaking it's the hellebore, and there are some extra colourways too that you can work with this. We've chosen the Christmas rose at this time of the year a little bit more because along the lines that we've done lots of Christmas launches, and maybe you're wanting a floral element to go along with all of those. It is stunningly beautiful. So on this one, I'm going to talk around what you're getting with your your USB, your Minecraft Studio element of it. And we're going to make a few backgrounds because with the Flower of the Month, you don't actually get backgrounds, but I've chosen to use all the elements and make some really pretty backing papers. Now, when you're doing this, I could sit and make all these backing papers all day long because of how beautiful they are. But I just wanted to do something a little bit different because it is Flower of the Month. So let's go over to the PC. So here we have, and usually you would find me saying I'm going to change the orientation of my paper, but in this instance I'm actually not. I'm going to leave it as it is. So let's quickly just go through what we're getting with it. We're getting the seam building. Now the seam building are all the little tiny elements, and on here you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colorways to actually have a play with, and then the elements are all broken down. So you've got singular leaves, you've got the full element as well. You've got the little buds, so you can really go to town with what you're making if you wanted to do so. But then you also get your reflections in this part. So all those colorways that I was just telling you about, you're actually getting. So you can just pop them on here, print them out, and you've also got the colorways. And then you get your digistamps. Now, the digistamps really are kind of beautiful because as much as we like to work with them in colour, if you're just wanting a really simple, and I'm talking simple card, quick make, there's nothing more lovely than that is something that is just black and white. And if you were to print that off, I'm going to place it down here, or you could actually do 4 of these. So you could put 4 on, you could have 4 A6s, okay? So each one, just copy and paste, so you've got 4 on here. Make sure it's centered within your A6 parameters, so you've got them all kind of lined up. This is where I'd use my grid lines to make sure they were about right. Print off a few sheets of this and then guillotine these into quarters, mat and layer them onto simple black and white or even a little bit of silver, and they are the nicest little notelets or gift cards, or even, dare I say it, from a particular St. Michael's shop that you would find that are very clean, simple Christmas cards. Maybe there'd be a little bit of a gilded sentiment on here and that's all you would get. But they are very beautiful just as they are. So those line outs, those actual digistamps really do work super well when you're doing something like this. And not only do they work like that, you can use them for making colouring. So I'm going to go back to my seam building, and like I said, I want to make some backing papers because there's nothing on here for me to actually work with. So what I did is I brought on, let me go further down, this one. So I actually worked with the original, and I wanted it really large images in the background. I wanted it full on, really pretty card stock for this. So I made it even a little bit bigger than that. So that's where I started. I've gone over the edge because it's a backing paper, and to make a backing paper look really good and realistic, to have it starting over the edge looks like it's been manufactured. That's why we do that, because if we brought it in and we had it here, you've ended up with white space, and we want to eliminate all the white space, and that's what I did with this. So because I've resized it, I'm just going to copy and paste it, okay? So right click, copy, right click, paste, and because I've pasted it once, if I right click and press paste again, it does the same thing again and again. So I've now got multiples, okay? What we want to do now is eliminate white space. So I'm going to drop that down a little bit. I can afford, I think, to bring this one down there. Now this one's going to come up. I'm looking where all these white open spaces are, okay? So then on this side, I'm going to right click and I'm going to flip this because I don't want all of that hanging over the edge. I want to use the whole of it to my advantage, or as much as I can possibly use. Now, popping that there does cover the white space. It also covers my buds that I don't want to hide. Right click, go to my order, and I'm going to send this one to the back. It fills in the white space, gives me this beautiful colourway, but it doesn't hide the bud that I'm wanting to keep. Again, this one is here, but I don't want the actual stems over the top. Whoops. Undo is my favourite button. Pop that back. No, I want this one here. That one. There we go. Pop that one back. And all I'm doing when I'm arranging these is I'm looking and moving. Right, I've got white space there, so I'm going to cover those white elements. Bring this in. I'm trying to make it that I'm being as frugal as I can and using a limited amount of them. So now I'm going to turn that round because it really doesn't matter because it's just in the background. I'm happy with that. In fact, that one, because it's further away, nope. That one. This one that's at the bottom, there, that one, I'm going to make bigger. So I'm going to use that one, the ratio side of things. Bring this back in. Again, I'm hiding all the white bits. Move that along so I can bring that down. That's that one. That is in there, and then this one. Make sure I've got that little bit there. And now I do need one extra, so I'm going to copy and paste. And then I'm going to flip. Okay. I'm going to put that back because it wasn't the one that I wanted to flip. Put that back. This one is what I want to copy. So copy, paste. That's the one I wanted, and flip. So go to this one and flip, and then that will sit down here. I'm looking here, so if I do that, that's the bit I need to actually really eliminate. There. I can delete this one. So now I've got a lovely backing paper full of big blooms that are all the Christmas rose, but it's really untidy, isn't it? It's not very good touch. If you send this to print, it will, however, only print what's within your grid space. It won't print the rest of it. So I'm just going to zoom a little bit like this because I'm going to left click away from my image, hold down, drag and drop and hold it. And I'm going to group all that together. Now, if I wanted to, I can alter the size wise. But I'm just going to zoom back out, zoom back in again. I'm going to go up to our digital punches. Now our digital punches, there's lots on here for us to use. We've got our word plaques, basic shapes, borders, florals, everyday flourishes. We've got something for the men. So, you know, the fishing, very standard, isn't it? And then we've got the ladies, which is the handbags and the coat hangers and things. Why do we get a coat hanger? The kids, mountain bike, no it's not, BMXing, do you remember that? Doilies, we've got our Christmas sentiments and things. Oh, that's beautiful, that one, I like that one. So there's lots to work with. However, let's go back to our basic shapes. I'm just going to scroll down a tiny little bit until I find, what I'm looking for is the square or the rectangle. I do believe I'll go to the rectangle first. That's the one I want. Click on the actual piece that you're working with is really important. Now, we already know that the top, middle and bottom and the side, middle and bottom just stretch the elements, which you can do. So I'm going to make this bigger right to the edge. And then I've got a little square there and take it right to the edge of the paper. Okay. Now over here at the top, we can keep the inner or keep the outer. Well, we want to keep the inner. So I'm going to go punch. Remove that out the way, and then I've got a lovely backing paper ready for me to use, okay? So I can then go ahead, print that off and use it, which is one of the things that I've already done. So I've already done that, I've printed mine off. If that's a little bright for you, you can go into your effects and add some opacity to it. So it oops, hold on to the button. Highlight what you're working with, of course, and make it a lot paler if you wanted to. You can play with the brightness, so we can take the brightness up or down, whichever way that is that you want to do. Undo that bit. And even your contrast. So you can really play with this and make it even more vintage if you wanted to. Your hue, you can alter that. So if you're just wanting the actual imagery, but you want it to match a certain colour, you absolutely can. So there's lots of ways, once you've done this, to be able to manipulate it to work for you. So then I went ahead and printed that. But then I thought, actually, I want something much bigger, because I want 3 different, or I actually did 4 different backing papers to work with. I needed something more. So all I did was, oops, moved it, and I really made it much bigger, like that. So really, I'd probably only got 1 bloom or so. There wasn't very many. And again, you can go back to your digital punch and punch that out, or just press print. So then you've got that one. But also, you can then change the... So well, let's go to digital punch and actually do that. Let's go back to basic shapes. Click that on there, highlight it. So you can do this with everything that you've got. Like, oops, a little bit more. And then keep inner. So then that's your second one. So you've got a much bigger bloom going on this one. And then I did go into effects and I did drop, oops, make sure you highlight the right one. Drop the opacity on this. I wanted a paler background. So now I printed that. So that's 3 different backgrounds I've given myself to work with. Then I wanted a green image. So I brought this on and I thought, well, that's not very big. That's not going to cover much of my paper. So I made it much bigger, like this. Stretched it out so it covered what I needed it to cover. And then again, you can zoom out so you can use and really stretch it to how you need it to be. There we go. I've covered all the white space. That's exactly what I wanted. I picked up, so click and bring this to the front. That is now going to hover over the top. I can now zoom in again so I can make sure I've got that lined up on my grid. And then the same thing again, keep inner. So now I've got another colour. And again, go into your effects. If it's a little bit too bright, make sure you've highlighted it and knock the colour down if you want it lighter. It's super, super simple and just so easy to work with. So those are the 4 backgrounds that I actually did for Flower of the Month. And here they are. This is what I've used. So you will see them in my next 2 videos for Flower of the Month, which is for the dies and also the SVGs. So that was my first one with all of the lovely elements all together and this lovely bud. So that was all of them eliminating the white space. Then we zoomed in, really zoomed in. So I've ended up with a beauty. But look, I just love, 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 love the fact with Minecraft Studio, that hasn't distorted. It's still as clear an image, even though I've changed the image. It's beautiful. Then on this one, mice have been. I actually used this one on the projects I've cut out of it. So again, knocked it back a little bit. I just took it a little bit paler. I wanted it a little bit softer. And then that is my leaf that I've just done. And then I just took the colour out again as well. So I'd got those 4 pieces for me to work with. And then finally, I went in and did the season's greetings. So shall I show you how I made my little sentiment? Shall we go back? Let's have a quick look. Really quick. Home. Now, to actually do a sentiment, we need text. So we need the text box open. So we click on text, add text, click here, and I want it centered. So I'm going to center it straight away, okay? And then you just start typing. Now, if you want to do your standard Merry Christmas, etc., like so, okay, that's one. So then we'll go back to add text and click, and I want it centered in the middle. And what was the one I've done here? Seasons, greetings, and then from our house to yours. And that's centered. Click off, click back on, so I can now manipulate it. So I've got Merry Christmas, but obviously it's a bit of a waste just having one. So you just copy, paste, and then paste again and paste again. And you've got 1, 2, 3, you should have 4. So now I'm going to change the sizes of some of these. Leave that one the same, make that one a little bit smaller. I might even make that one bigger. And the same with Merry Christmas, we can copy and paste. And what I'm actually doing is making myself a whole sheet of sentiments. Okay, so I can print that off on my printer. I've spread them out to leave myself some space, because what I then did was scan that into my scan and cut, aligned it with what I needed for my actual piece that I'm making, and cut it out with an oval because I wanted an oval. Or if you're using your dies, you can actually lay your dies over the top and absolutely do that. So that's where these two elements have disappeared to, because one's the mat and the other one's the other piece. So that's made the sentiment for one of my cards that I'm making in the next videos. But that is how I've used the Minecraft Studio side of this beautiful Christmas Rose USB, and it's now helped me, download. My apologies, it's a download, of course it is, but you've got it on a USB stick because you've downloaded it. So you can then manipulate it and make lots of different backgrounds. So even just doing exactly as I've done and using the other 5 colourways that you've got, four colourways that you might have got, you can change it up instantly, taking out the brightness, taking out the opacity and making it a lot more translucent, softening it, making it look like watercolours. You can make so many different backing papers. And then just a little added touch to make your own sentiments as well, because even though it's a Christmas rose, it's not just for Christmas. We can use it all year round. So thank you very much for joining me for this little bit of inspiration for our lovely Minecraft Studio of our Flower of the Month Christmas Rose. You take care. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.